So, hi everyone. I'm here with David, one of our students. And if you're ready, David, I'm going to ask you a few questions about your experience with the course.
Very well.
Okay. So, first, can you give a brief description of your musical background in general? What musical genres are you into the most? What instruments do you play? And so on.
I've been interested in music all my life, and I'm now kind of very advanced. We won't talk about how advanced, but I've never been adept. So the furthest I ever got was back in the 60s. I used to strum the guitar and sing folk songs like so many other people. And at this point in my life, I thought I would like to acquire both a better understanding of the feeling of music. I think the word of some music literacy, to understand their music theory better, and to be able to have a degree of dexterity which I've never had before.
Okay, and so what musical genres are you into the most? Is it?
The things I listen to most would be, you would probably be called classical music. I mean, obviously the great, the giants like Bach and Chopin and Beethoven and so on and so on. But I've also listened to jazz all my life. I mean, from the time I was, without going off topic, but when rock music took over the world, and people would say, "Well, what do you think of that? What do you think of that?" It's noise to me, but no, I would be listening to Dave Brubeck or something, and they would be listening to the Rolling Stones. So, but jazz. I mean, at the same time, I'm open to, I think, all of human music. So I listened to, at one point I was accused. People said, "David, your music, your record collection is so ethnic because Persian music, Arabic, and so on and so on." So just music as a part of human existence is something that I'm very interested in.
Okay, so and what instruments do you play the most?
Now, I haven't touched the guitar in years, but now I'm working on a digital keyboard.
Okay, a piano, so a piano, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so next question is, what was your process for developing your musical hearing skills prior to Use Your Ear?
Mostly just books, like method books of one kind or another. I did, Leonardo, many years ago, for a while, actually have a music teacher, but again, I didn't get very far.
Okay, and what methodology they were based on? I mean, the books that you're mentioning, what methodologies, what was the process that they were?
I think what you would probably call the general classroom, study the scales, study the various keys, key signatures, I'm not sure if that's answering your question. What was the methodology you mean?
The methodology that they were suggesting you to acquire your training skills.
Exercises.
Okay.
Mostly and exercises.
Were they interval-based exercises? I mean, they were asking you, or
no.
No.
Actually, there would be, little things like Mary Had a Little Lamb,
okay, just learning songs and be able to sing
that
them.
Incorporated skills.
Okay, so it sounds to me like it was like kind of a solfege-based.
I think I'm not understanding the question better. Sorry, Leonardo. If you're asking me in terms of
the general approach that...
Yeah, I never had that. So,
okay,
you stress how misleading and in the end maybe totally self-defeating the traditional interval training is, but I
Yeah.
never had traditional of any kind. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm luckier than many of you other people. I don't have to unlearn as much.
I think so. Yeah. And so, anyway, you tried out, but you hadn't a very clear approach, right? Is that, I think that's the final answer, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, of
No,
course.
yeah.
Okay. So the next question I want to ask you is that what problems or challenges were you experiencing that led you to search for a solution before, of course, before subscribing to the course?
Well, I sampled maybe at least a dozen different approaches or courses or promises from online,
Yeah.
vendors,
Yeah.
and I actually bought one or two and found them to a certain extent useful. But and I still have them. I might look at them from time to time. But what I was looking for, as I said earlier, was a better just understanding of the language of music.
That's great.
And when I came across your advertisements, I thought, oh, this sounds like this sounds like what I'm after. So that's how I'm here.
Okay, that's great. And so, how did you hear about Use Your Ear?
That it was very different from the other things that I listened to. Um, quite frankly, I was taken with the seriousness with which now that may sound funny to you, because people they say, well, you want to be personality and so on and so on, and the fact that you weren't doing any of that, that it was like, here's what I believed, here's what I've experienced, and I think if what you're after is well, I think if you have to put my sister, well, I have a sister who also had a degree in music, and she was asking me about you, and I said, well, what he's providing is an ever better understanding of the idea of relative pitch, and I thought, oh, that's what attracted me, and the fact that you presented in a way that, yes, it's serious. We're not, it's not, oh, come on, we're going to be having lots of fun. No, it's that this is going to take some work, but if this is what you're after, I'm going to try to provide you with the best possible approach to doing that. And it's the simplicity and directness that I liked about what you bring to it.
How long have you been following the Use Your Ear method?
I think it's not much more than a month.
Okay. And so, can you describe the type of goals that you want to accomplish using this method, that you're trying to achieve? The general idea, at least. I know it's probably big.
What I feel in this first month, what I think I've learned most, and that is this idea that each note in the scale, each degree of the scale has a distinct character. You call it colors,
Okay.
you call it experience, you call it a feeling,
Yeah.
and all of those things, and I respect it, are just trying to find words for something that really is not easily put into words,
Yeah.
but that it's. I mean, everybody knows do re mi, do.
Yeah.
Whatever. But what you've done in your approach is provide me with a very vivid understanding that each of those elements is, well, I like, for example, your idea of the planetary system. That
Yeah.
each one of those is an element which has a specific, which has its own particular place
Yeah. And it's,
and its
you
own
can think of
particular
them.
relationship with the others. And I think it's that you provided helped me to really get ever more vividly clear in my head.
Yeah. And you can think of them as words that are part of a language that you are building your experience,
Yeah,
you're developing your experience with it.
language. Yeah.
So you can think of them, you know, going on with the example that you were talking about before of the language, you can think of them as words. They are elements of a language that you can internalize and then be able to speak and to understand more intuitively. Okay, so anyway, that's just a very specific goal, right? I mean, it's your short-term goal, but do you have also long-term goal? I mean, the general idea that you want to maybe you want to develop improvisation skills. Maybe you want to be able to play by ear, play what comes to your mind more intuitively. Is that something that is close to what you are searching for?
Very much, very much.
Okay, so is that playing by ear and getting more connected to music on an intuitive level? Is that, correct me if I'm
Absolutely.
wrong?
Absolutely. To be able to be able to have sufficient understanding of, okay, for want of a better word, of the language
Yeah,
of music, to be able to sit down and write a poem, you know.
That
That's
is
what I'm at.
a perfect example, I think. And so the next question is, by following the course, have you noticed any reduced effort or boredom in your practicing routine, in your training practicing routine?
That the five exercises that you provide in your unit one,
Yeah.
which I think in your preamble to unit one, you say this is possibly the most important unit in the whole course.
Yeah.
So, if once you grasp and kind of to a degree mastered the elements that are here presented in unit one, you're going to find that they apply to the rest of the course. Well, I'm still in unit one. I have gone from a month ago to barely understanding how to approach it to starting to feel at home with these exercises and enjoy doing them. Yes, and feeling, well, yes, I made progress, and on
Okay.
only a month, that's a lot to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, can you talk a bit about the improvements you felt, and maybe if there is a
Well,
way
I
in
think I've
which you
already,
can?
I'll be repeating what I said before, but that's okay, I guess, that I'd never before had such a clear understanding
Okay.
of the degrees of scale,
Okay.
and that I could. It's really quite. I'm getting to the point where if you ask me to, okay, David, here's your tonic. Now give me fa. I'm almost able to do that. I certainly couldn't have done that a month ago.
So, have you tried to apply this methodology, this approach to real music? I mean, it's only a month that you're practicing, so maybe not, but
Well, yes, because um, when I, say, all right, well, I've been working with the Use Your Ear program for the last, half hour, redoing that exercise and so on. Then I go to the keyboard to do some of my other exercises and things that I've been doing on the keyboard. And of course, what is in my brain now when I'm playing, I'm hearing, oh yeah. In other words, the sensation of the greater familiarity with the degrees of the scale uh, illuminates aspects of the exercises that I'm so confirms, which is a in any kind of teaching situation when two different lines of activity actually intersect. That's then they mutually reinforce each other. So yes,
Right.
I'm finding that.
Okay, that's great. And I'm skipping the question that I know.
The answer to all
It's
that, yeah.
Yeah, you answered already. So let's see this. What has most impressed you about the methodology that I suggest?
Well, Leonardo is such a handsome individual to watch and see, so that's it. You can't help it. Again, I think it's the fact that unlike many of the approaches or systems or methods that are being sold every day on the internet in the hundreds, uh, uh, there is a degree of mature seriousness about what the use your ear system is presenting, which makes it feel more, quite frankly, which makes it feel more adult than many of the whiz bang programs. I just was like, here, have you been trying all your life to play the piano? I'm going to solve your problem. Oh, it used to be that you couldn't do this. Well, I'm going to make you, a week from now, you're going to be playing 100 songs. Well,
I know what you're referring to, probably.
So, that approach, and again, it's advertising and everybody's trying to make a buck and everybody has their own kind of idea. Well, let me try to engage my audience, show them what a personality, and all of those things, they don't impress my age, they don't impress me. Whereas what this is, look, this is a problem that most people experience, and it's a problem that many people spend years studying and are frustrated. But I have worked on something that I think if I share with you, you'll find that you're going to get much better at dealing with this problem. That's an adult approach that I can respect.
That's great. That's
Anyway.
great. And so, anyway, I finished all the questions, and if you want to, I hope you will continue practicing with this method, and I hope you will get lots of results, and maybe we can get another interview.
The other thing too, I think that I could say that is very impressive in this month, that whenever I've lodged a question that I had, I got a reply to it, if not within a day, certainly never more than 2 days. And that's very impressive.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
well, allora. Oh, yeah. Have a wonderful day. And
you too. And I hope you will get lots of results. And anyway, thank you very much for letting me having.
It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better. I would break each other a little bit better through this process, and I'm sure I'll be around for. I'm not planning on going anywhere yet. I mean, at least for a few years. So I'm sure we'll continue to know each other as I go forward. That's
great. That's great. Thank you very much for letting me having this interview with you, and see you soon.
Arrivederci.
Thank you.